Good morning, everyone. Today is Sunday, November 24th, and today we will cover Group A yet again. We will cover Group A and guess what they are paying coming up this week. This is now the third cycle, the third 4-week cycle for Group A. So, first off, let's go to the calendar, the declaration or the distribution calendar. And what do we got? So Group A, they declare on November the 27th, which is, what is it? I guess it's the Wednesday, right? And then the ex-dividend date is not the Thursday because obviously the market is closed. So ex-dividend date is Friday, 11/29. And then payment day, unfortunately, we have to wait until Monday, December 2nd. As mentioned in a prior video, Roundhill and Defiance decided to move, up the day a little earlier. Declaration date falls a day earlier, ex-dividend date, etc., in order to get paid on the Friday. But YMAX and YMAG and Group A did not join that party. So unfortunately, payment day will not be a Friday for Group A this week. So, that's the bad news, right? The good news is we have every fund now in the YMAX universe of funds, right? Because if you go to the YMAX holdings, I just want to show you guys real quick before we get into the spreadsheet that, the two that we were waiting on were SMCY. You could see it right there. And then the latest one is, who the heck was it? It was SMCY and someone else. Was it Plady? Yeah, I think it was Plady. Yeah, so now we have, I believe, 27 funds in total that make up the YMAX fund, which, very diversified. Some we may hate, some we may love, but regardless of that, pretty equally allocated fund with various options. And yeah, we pay a little more in the expense ratio, but to have an, equally allocated fund like this, it's pretty cool. Anyway, let's move on. Let's get to it. Let's get to the fund estimates or the guesstimates. All right, so this is Group A. It's led by TSLY. So let's see what we can get on the screen here. If I could zoom out, actually. There we go. I guess that's okay. Yeah. By the way, Little Rod is here. So I know you guys missed him, and now you got him back. So beware. He may be involved at some point. All right, I'm going to start with TSLY. Good old TSLY. This one, honestly, I didn't know what to do. So first off, let's go to the TSLY file, and we'll go right to the payment information. So TSLY, for the 4-week cycle, again, I know they have 2 more days, and then they have declaration date. So keep that in mind. This is just up until the Friday before. They had synthetic income of 144 million, short call loss 52 mil. So, as of now, they made 91.4 mil. Now that comes to $1.42 per share. All right. Last month they paid 59 cents. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. Now let's go back to the spreadsheet. So they made $1.42 per share. Now if we go to the right here, how much did they go up? They went up 346 in price. 346. All right. Now their IV is also 61%. I threw in $1.10. I don't know, man. I was hesitant. I had like 88 cents, then I had 90 something cents. And then the reason I have $1.10 is I'll go back to the TSLY sheet and I'll show you is I went to the synthetic 295 and look where they're at, man. They're 19% above their synthetic position. So I don't think they're worried about not making money this coming month, right? If we go to synthetic bailout money, they have 177 mil. What they make this month, 144 mil. So, they can cash this out at any point in time and use that, obviously, unless Tesla goes down, but they could use that for future income. So I'm thinking that they could pay out a lot of this. They could pay out a lot of the $1.42. And why the hell not, right? Start off the year with a nice bang, get a nice yield out for TSLY. who is the flagship of, the YieldMax funds, and just, have a good time. But and when I say start off the year, the fiscal year, right? It's the towards the beginning of the fiscal year. So I have $1.10 here, and I may change that as we discuss. But just look, okay. So the first batch of the 4-week cycle was $1.09, and then the second was 59 cents. Big gap there. It's tough. So I do have $1.10. $1.10 comes to a 91% yield. And yes, I know their IV is 61%, but they did go up by $3.46. So I'm taking the income that they made, the amount they went up per share, and how much they're going to make in the future if things go, if all things stay equal. So yeah, I'll leave that for now. We'll see how it goes. Very hesitant to change it as we speak. Let's move on though. OARK, I did 35 cents. For the month, they actually did pretty good. They did go up 87 cents. So 35 cents would be a raise from the prior. It would be a 41% yield. Their IV is 36%. So, they paid 40 cents the first 4-week cycle and then 28 cents. And now I think they'll be back to a 35. All right, GUI, I'm going to give them 34 cents. They did not really have a great month, but 34 cents is a 30% yield, which would be, their IV is actually 25%. So now that I'm looking at this, I think I'm being a little too generous. I'm going to drop them down maybe to 31 cents. Okay, Little Rod's getting up. Where is he going? All right, so that would put them, that's a 28% yield. That's a little more reasonable, I think, for them to do. So we'll see. Time will tell. All right, Zomo, I'm going to give them 40 cents. Let's see how much they went up for the month. They did go up 62 cents. 40 cents is a 30% yield. Their IV is 19%. Is that too generous as well? Where the hell did I come up with that number anyway? Again, guys, I plugged these numbers yesterday, and I was like, 37. Does that sound better? That's a 28% yield. That's still too generous, right? They paid 25 cents first 4 week and then 33 cents. But I will give them a boost. I'm going to give them a 35. That's a 2-cent raise. 2-cent raise would be a 41%. Now, where is it? 2-cent raise, 26% yield in comparison to their 19% IV based on the 62-cent gain for the month. Well, yeah, we'll stick with that. All right, moving on. YBIT. YBIT, prior to, they paid 79 cents and then 67 cents. I have $1.05. Am I insane? Well, let's take a look. They would jump $2.87. So that's a pretty big jump. And their IV is 67%. So do they have any right paying $1.05? That's the question, right? So in the beginning, they were paying over $1. They paid over $1. Then they kind of went down. So I know this is high, but I feel like, they have done pretty well. I think he's trying to plug in the guy over there, so I might have to get up. But so they did go up 287. You want him to plug in? All right, I'm gonna have to plug something in. Give me a second. But I'm looking at YBIT. I might adjust that one too. Yeah, it's the moose. All right. Okay, where we go? There it is. All right, we plugged in the moose. We should be good for a few minutes. Okay, moving on. All right, no. Actually, I'm not moving on. YBIT. Still hesitant. Tough one, man. Tough one. Should we give them over $1? Should they be paying over $1? Probably not. Let's give them high 90s. Let's give them 91 cents. You guys are probably going to be pissed at me for all these changes, but I didn't have much time yesterday to pre-do it. It's either that or start with nothing. All right, so 91 cents would be a 74% yield, which is above their IV. And it's a raise from the prior 4-month cycle, 4-week cycle. So I think people would be happy with that. SNOY, all right, I have a ridiculous number here. So let's go back to this. SNOY paid 51 cents and then 55 cents. But look at this, man. They jumped up $5.28. That's a massive jump. So I figured, each month, although $1.75 is high, but each cycle, there's always one that shines, especially over 100% yield. And I think Group A is hurting for someone to shine. I thought it may have been TSLY, but maybe it's too early to jump the gun. But SNOY, I don't know if, SNOY's never really jumped out as like a big, heavy hitter. I think they have their chance now to gain some popularity because they did have really good earnings. And they're now, they closed at what, 21.56? That's pretty good, man. So, and their IV is only 40%. So $1.75 would put them over 100% yield. All right. Are they going to pay 105% yield on SNOY? You know what? I'm going to leave it. I'm going to say yes. So this is going to be my surprise of the groups for sure. Again, I don't know of this 528 how much they actually cashed out. Like maybe they didn't, because most of it probably in the synthetic because it was unexpected earnings. And I'm sure their calls were tight and blown through. But if they would have rolled their synthetic position, I'm sure there's income that they need to pay out. So let's just assume they did. We'll give them $1.75, 105% yield. All right, moving on to TSMY. They paid what? 37 cents, and then they paid 88 cents. So I'm going to give them a 65-cent payment, which is a decrease. Because they had a bad month, they went down 10 cents per share overall. So I put them kind of close to their IV. Their IV is 35%. I gave them a yield of 42%. So again, my guesstimate is 65 cents. Last but not least, the crappiest of the bunch is Crash. They paid 44 cents last month. I'm going to decrease that to 41 cents, which is a 67% yield. Still above their IV. All right, now he's throwing stuff. That's great. Their IV is 61%, but their fund went down by $3.15. Can we not do that? All right, so that's the update. Obviously, sorry for the changes and the pauses in between, but that's the update on Group A. Obviously, you could see their recovery rates pretty damn good. A lot of them: TSLY, OARK, Zomo, YBIT, SNOY, and TSMY all more than recovered their prior distribution. So they did rather well. And then obviously all of these add up and come to an average. So if you see my YieldMax estimate yield battle royale, that's the average yield of the bunch. So if I take that, it'll show me what YMAX and YMAG are going to pay for them, not next week, but the week after. And this is what it comes to. YMAX would pay 21 cents and YMAG would pay 25 cents. Okay? But again, that's not for next week. That's for the week after. I will show you next week's guesstimate for YMAX and YMAG right now because Group D, they had some heavy hitters last week that paid. Their average yield is 91%, right? What was this? This estimate yield for the group was 59%. So obviously Group D, much higher. So that's a benefit to YMAX. YMAX prediction for next week, pretty big payment, 33 cents. I hope it's right. We'll see. YMAG payment prediction for next week, also pretty decent, 23 cents. So, not a bad week, not at all. But again, this is a guesstimate. We'll see what they declare on the Wednesday. All right. All right. So outside of that, we'll go through some recovery rates. We talked about Group A and their recovery and how they did and their estimates. Now we'll talk about Group B. Group B, their ex-dividend date was November 7th. So since then, their recovery rates, how the hell is NVIDIA not updating? Is at the A12, that would be the Ticker, open, AY, the date. Okay. And then here, it's 2560 012. $25.68 current stock price. Yeah. Is that possible? No movement? No movement at all. All right. It is, I guess. I'll double check it again. But NVIDIA, no movement, no recovery. Okay. What about the others? Well, Phoebe has a negative 47% recovery rate. I guess no recovery is better than that. JPMO, 88% recovery rate. So that's pretty good. Murney continues to stink up the joint. Really bad fund. Negative 421% recovery rate. GDXY, negative 113% recovery rate. Babo is negative 333% recovery rate. Platy, 345% recovery rate, which is pretty damn good. I'm just making sure these are updated. They have to be updated. If you go here. Yeah, okay. Anyway, what do we say? Platy is, 345% recovery rate. Dips is 76% recovery rate. So, yeah, man, these are taking a beating. But Murney continues to be horrible. I just don't know why anyone would own that, including YieldMax, even though they have to. But, I mean, Babo, what's going on with Babo? They've been doing nothing but go down. But anyway, let's move on to Group C. How are they doing? Nestle, 123% recovery rate. So, as usual, they're killing it. This is, again, from their ex-dividend date of 11/14. This is their recovery rate. So Coney has recovered 38%, MSFO negative 86%, AMDY negative 2%, PP 11% recovery rate, ABNY 19% recovery rate, Fiat negative 28% recovery rate, and Alti 12% recovery rate. All right, moving on to the Group D, who just declared. So their ex-dividend date just happened on November 21st. So there's not going to be really much movement here, except SMCY had a lot of movement. So yeah. And another thing, a little late to do this now, but someone asked me, can you explain the recovery rate? And it's pretty simple. If you look at the last payment that they made, right? So Aptly, for example, Aptly paid 33 cents. So what I did was I took their ex-dividend date price at the open. So here's Apple's ex-dividend price at the open, 17.53, because again, that's the price that Aptly opened at minus the distribution, right? So I'm showing from that date up until now, current date, which in this example, it's only 2 days later, but I'm showing how much they recovered of that prior distribution. Because when you own these funds and you're getting paid month in, month out, you want to make sure that they can actually make that money back, right? And then you can have stable NAV, flat NAV, or maybe NAV appreciation as well. So that's kind of what it's doing, and it's showing, each and every cycle how well they're doing or how bad they're doing. So hopefully that made sense. So in the example of Aptly, they didn't make money. They went down 8 cents, so they're going to show a negative recovery rate, negative 23%. AMSI, same thing. They went down 54 cents, negative 46% recovery rate. But again, it's so early in the 4-week cycle, you can't really judge it at this very moment. But we'll go through it anyway. Disso dropped 4 cents, so that's a negative 5% recovery rate. SQY, I won't do the noise. They did go up 31 cents, so that's an 18% recovery rate. AIYY did jump 63 cents. That's a 73% recovery rate. Misty, big correction the other day, as we saw, right? They got shorted, or MSTR was getting shorted. Great buying opportunity, in my opinion, at least. But they have a negative 177% recovery rate. SMCY, I mean, what a comeback they're doing, man. They jumped 274. So look, 274 is greater than 220, right? That's why it's a over 100% recovery rate. It's at 124% recovery rate. So that was a fund I was hesitant to buy into. I did not. I ended up not buying into it, but it would have been a great investment if you guys bought in at the bottom, man. Good for you. Last but not least, YQQQ. What do they got going on? Yeah, they have a 45% recovery rate, so they're doing okay. And we did talk about house money. We did on the last video, but for those of you who did not see it, congratulations on Misty. 120% house money now. AMZ's catching up, 51%. Squeeze at 66%. So it's pretty good stuff. So we now have house money on Coney, on NVIDIA, and Misty. And all that means is they have basically paid back in distributions what the original launch price was, which is pretty amazing. Misty did it the fastest, so I guess they're the GOAT. They are such an amazing fund. And by the way, let's take a look at their IV lately. Look at this, man. 222%. That's the IV of MSTR. SMCI is only 121%. That's crazy, right? I mean, whew. And then they're both in the same group. Group D is dominant. It's crazy. Now let's check. Is there any others that are high? Coin does have a high IV of 91%. And by the way, why does that matter? The higher the implied volatility or IV, the higher premium you can get when you trade options. So the higher yield we should expect from those. But yeah, Coin is another one to look at. What else we got here? Moderna is high, 79%, but it's high, I think, for more of a negative reason. So I'm not going to get too excited about that. Palantir has a 56% IV. That's okay. Who else? Tesla, always pretty, decent, 61%. YBIT shows 67%. I heard they're going to trade something other than BITO. I haven't checked it out, but maybe I should. If you guys know if they're doing something different, let me know in the comments, actually. But they, you know what? Let's just do that right now. Not like I want to take up more of your time, but why the hell not? So if we go to YieldMax, we go to our ETFs, covered call ETFs, and then you go down to YBIT. Did you poop?
Yeah.
Oh no. Let me see. Okay. Yep, he pooped. All right, so let's do this really quick. Okay. Download holdings. Who they trade. Yeah, still BITO. All right, so never mind. YBIT is still trading BITO. I didn't know if they were changing that. I thought I heard someone talking about that the other day. All right, so I'll have to end this here before he makes any more of a mess or tries to, put his hand in there, if you know what I'm saying. So here's the quick recap. Here's my guesstimates. Week 3, first time, the third cycle of the 4 weeks. Group A is up. My guesstimate for TSLY is $1.10. That's a 91% yield. OARK, 35 cents, 41% yield. GUI, 31 cents, 28% yield. Zomo, 35 cents, 26% yield. YBIT, 91 cents, 74% yield. SNOI, $1.75, 105% yield. TSMY, 65 cents, 42% yield. Crash, 41 cents, 67% yield. And as far as YMAX and YMAG, their guesstimates are YMAX 33 cents and YMAG 23 cents. So we'll see what happens heading into next week. Obviously, don't rely on these numbers. These are just for fun. But yeah, they'll declare on, Wednesday. Roundhill and Defiance should be declaring on Tuesday, I believe. So it'll be a fun week. We'll be busy. As always, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. This video is for fun and entertainment. So hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you're entertained. If not, we'll try again next time. Again, sorry for the interruptions. Sorry for the changes, but not every video is perfect, right? Life happens. if you enjoyed this, yeah, I said that. Enjoy this video, hit the like button, and questions, concerns, leave in the comments. And that's it. It's time for the keyword, I guess. So if you made it this far in the video and you want to prove it, you have to say the keyword. So little Rod is going to say the keyword, right? So what'd you do? What'd you do? You know what I'm trying to make the keyword, right? Here, take that out. What'd you do? What's in here? What? What's in there? We can't hear you.
Poop.
He said poop. All right, the keyword is poop today. All right, so if you made it this far in the video and you want to prove it, you have to type in poop. That's right, poop. All right, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Later.